morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We have been waiting a very long time for a very special guest to come today. Dr. Solomon's, granddaughter, Ashlyn, is joining us today. If y'all don't know Ashlyn, you want to say hi?
Hey.
Ashlyn, that's open if you'd like to come up front. You're okay? Well, as everybody knows, Dr. Solomon is a real icon in the civil rights movement here in South Carolina. He was the very first person to desegregate into USC's graduate school. He also helped initiate and bring to fruition the law which required higher ed institutions to desegregate. Dr. Solomon has been the head of state agencies. He has also been the recipient of the Order of the Palmetto by 2 different governors, which is the highest honor you can receive in this state, and many, many more accomplishments. Welcome to our class.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm nervous. I don't usually get to speak to bright, young people. Most of the people I speak to are old like me, and so they're slow in their thinking, and so I don't get nervous. But I'm nervous for you. Let me see, how should I begin? Now, I taught public school once, and teachers don't have to do this anymore, but when I taught school, you had to do lesson plans. And I thought she'd laugh when I said that, but she was busy. I said, when I taught school, I had to do a lesson plan. You don't have to do lesson plans.
We do.
You do?
We do.
Okay. So I did a lesson plan for you. I'm going to do my little brief talk in 3 segments, and then I'll try to respond to your questions. What I'll do first is some brief reflections on the past, basically on my past, okay? Then I'll give you some of my thoughts on the present. And then I'm going to issue to you 3 challenges that I hope you would accept. Now, I have a paper that I wrote, and I'll try not to read it, but I'll tell you, you'll know why I brought it in just a minute. On August the 24th of last year, I became a member of the 4 Score Club. How many of you know what that means? Okay, I'll tell you what it means. It means on August the 24th of last year, I was 80 years old. Okay? I was born in 1930. And being 80 years old causes a lot of people to think that you're an old man. I think that you probably think that. Well, I don't argue with that. I am an old man. Because I remember my great-great-grandfather, paternal grandfather, who was just 1 generation from slavery. And I was born during the Jim Crow years. And I think you may know what Jim Crow means. I lived through the Civil Rights Movement. And I went into the Air Force in 1947. At that time, the Air Force was still segregated. And all the black persons, black men in the Air Force at that time were classified as duty soldiers. All of those except the ones at Lockburn Air Force Base in Columbus, Ohio, who were under the command of a black general, Benjamin O. Davis, Jr., and he commanded the famous Tuskegee Airmen. I know that you heard of them. Well, my job in the Air Force was to clean the base commander's office. I was stationed at Riverside, California. And it didn't take me very long to realize that the base commander's office didn't get dirty. I mean, everybody cleaned up behind me. So what I would do is I would get paid, I would get in my car, spent 3 weeks in LA. I would come back, go to the base commander's office and still find it clean, wait to get paid again, get back into my car, and go to LA. I did that until the Air Force desegregated. Now you may know that President Truman desegregated the Air Force with the presidential, what do they call it? Not an order, but he desegregated the Air Force. When the Air Force was desegregated, I had to go to work. I went to A&E school, aircraft and engine school, and became an aircraft and engine technician. And I remained at that but during the Korean War, I couldn't get out because my AFSC was critical. I was stationed, I was destined to go, issued orders to go to Korea, but I never got there, and that's another story in itself. But I never got there. I actually ended up on Okinawa. When I returned from Okinawa after 18 months, I came to Shaw Air Force Base, met my wife there in Sumter, and we have been married 56 years. We have 4 children and 9 grandchildren, one of which is sitting back there, and we have 3 great-grandchildren. Now, in 1963, the courts ordered the University of South Carolina desegregated. I don't know how much South Carolina history you know, but a year prior to that time, Clemson had been ordered desegregated, and Harvey Gantt entered Clemson. He entered Clemson in the spring of 1963. Henri Monteith, Robert Anderson, and I entered the university in the fall of 1963. A young lawyer, a young civil rights lawyer named Matthew Perry, was Henri's lawyer. And after we were admitted, he became all of our lawyers. And this may sound strange, but when we went to register, they had a separate day of registration for us. We went to register with a police escort, and I was personally registered by the dean of the graduate school. There was no computer registration in those days, but it only took him about 2 minutes to register me. Those were interesting days, and if you'd like to hear more about them, we can talk more about them later. Then later on, I won't go into all the history, but I was elected to office 3 times, one time in Sumter, twice here in Columbia, not Irma, but in Columbia. Was the first black chairman of the Richmond One School Board. Served for 4 years as chairman. Became commissioner of the Department of Social Services, which was a pretty big deal in those days. The DSS had 7,000 employees at the time, and my budget was over $500 million, which made it a pretty big deal. And as a result of working with Governor Riley and completing the desegregation of public colleges and universities in South Carolina, he was kind enough to give me an honorary medal. And then later on, when Governor Campbell came into office, for whatever reason, he decided that I deserved another one. So I got another honorary medal. Now that's enough about my reflections. I guess